It appears Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was attempting to appeal to the normie market, and it failed miserably. Not that the game is terrible by any stretch. I'm about 8 hours into it so far, and honestly, looking forward to getting back to it. I'm liking most of it. The bike section, like I've said, and many other people have said previously, is kind of like not Metroid at all. Not that it's not fun. It just doesn't feel like it's Metroid. It's very jarring. I saw this come through from My Nintendo News. They said UK physical sales of Metroid Prime 4 were down 15% over Metroid Dread, which people will be like, oh, yeah, that's not that big of a deal because Metroid Dread was super popular. Guys, I don't know I can't remember the specifics, but Metroid Dread, I feel like it was either like shadow dropped or like it was a very short time frame from when they announced it to when it came out. And for after the first week, Metroid Prime 4, that's been in development for 8 years and had 3 games in the series leading up to its launch, you would think this would be blowing doors. But we have our first sales numbers coming through from Christopher Dring, who says sales of Metroid Prime 4 in the UK was 15% down over Metroid Dread. Physical sales only. It's relatively marginal, just a few thousand units. Again, Metroid Dread came out before digital sales were really everything. So maybe grand scheme Metroid Prime 4 Beyond might be selling as much or more than Dread. But just the fact that it's in the same conversation is extremely depressing, because you'd think this is the game that would maybe push Metroid to the limelight. Nintendo made all these decisions of turning Metroid Prime 4 into Hyrule Field and Zelda with the desert area as a main hub to connect everything. And it just doesn't feel like Metroid, but you can tell they had some sort of directive from somewhere to be like, we need to make this game like the ones that do sell. So let's just borrow ideas from those other games and put them into Metroid. Sure. I imagine a fair bit of Switch players would hold out until they can get it on Switch 2 as well. That's the other thing. The Switch was the only thing out when Dread came out, and far less Switches were sold at the point when it did come out. Now we have 5 years after Dread came out, more Switches sold over those 5 years, plus another console. And still can't physically keep up with it. That's not great. And again, it points to the normie market that Nintendo went after and failed miserably to try to garner. And I want to focus on one post that's going really viral right now. Seeing a lot of people quote tweet this and dunk on this. This is Mike Odyssey, and they said, am I the only one thoroughly enjoying Metroid Prime 4 and the new changes introduced to the game? Miles and the other characters are incredibly well developed, and I genuinely appreciate the interactions between them. And now again, for me, I'm 8 hours into it. There has been zero character development. Maybe that increases as time goes on, but they basically just put this Reddit computer geek guy as the character, and he's just like the guy that knows everything. Bring him the computer chips and he'll somehow make your suit shoot different bullets for some reason. While there are nods to Metroid Prime 1 for the original fans, this game offers more for those like me, Nintendo enthusiasts who haven't fully grasped the franchise, but were seeking a more substantial experience. My brain's going to explode here. So this guy is claiming at the top here that he's thoroughly enjoying the new changes introduced to the game. And he says there are nods to Metroid Prime 1. And then he says that the game offers more for those like me, enthusiasts who haven't fully grasped the franchise. If you haven't fully grasped the franchise, how can you speak to Metroid Prime 1 or other games saying that this is vastly changed if you're a normie coming in being a Nintendo enthusiast? Very strange. While it may not be the departure or evolution of the series, it's a positive step forward. It demonstrates Nintendo's and Retro Studios' commitment to expanding and preserving the Metroid legacy. Again, you just said you haven't fully grasped the franchise, and then you say it's preserving Metroid's legacy. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Are you a hardcore Metroid fanboy that you understand the series lore and everything that's come before it? Or are you the dude that's saying, yeah, I don't really know what's going on with this, but it's really fun? Admittedly, I wasn't particularly invested in the Metroid games until Prime 4. This guy self-owns himself 3 times to Sunday, and we're not even 3/4 of the way through this comment. However, this one piqued my interest. Why? Like, what from the trailer in this game stood out beyond the other games, making me eager to explore the other titles in the series? I believe that was the intended outcome. This is so hard to get through. It's so contradictory that I'm almost impressed. No, nay, I am impressed. It's worth noting that Metroid enthusiasts and content creators tend to seek opinions from fellow fans and Metroid content creators rather than from fresh perspectives like mine as new fans. So how can you say that these are new changes if you haven't played the other games? How can you say that it's a departure from what they've done before if you haven't played the other games? And finally, how can you say that you're interested in playing the other games after playing this one if the other games didn't pique your interest initially? What the fuck changed? What? This is the absolute definition of a tourist. And you know what? There's not necessarily anything wrong with that. If you want to come into a game series and pick it up for the first time and play it, have at it. That's what games are all about. I'm not here to gatekeep you from what games you're allowed to play, but don't you dare try to make an opinion heard to Nintendo and then be contradictory about what you even know about the series, because that is going to send extreme mixed signals and get us to the point of what we're at right now. Whereas if you're Nintendo reading this, you're like, oh, great. We tried to make a game for the normie market and it worked. We got one person. We got one person that didn't really know much about Metroid, but then got swept up in all the conversations about Metroid Prime 4 that decided to jump into it now. Again, he's welcome to do it, but my God, this is like, dude, I can't. When he posted this, I was like, do I screenshot this? Because I was worried he was going to take this down by the time I went live. Because I'm like, this is such a bad contradictory comment multiple times throughout it. And he got roasted, not just in his own comments, but in the quote tweets over and over and over again. Please fuck off back to Reddit, you limp-wristed Melly Macward. I wasn't particularly invested in Metroid games until Prime 4. Fresh perspectives like mine as new fans, changing the IP to please an audience that never cared. Interesting. Saints Row, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Fuck off, Taurus. He's getting roasted. Haven't fully grasped the franchise. Thoroughly enjoyed Metroid Prime 4. I wasn't particularly invested in the Metroid games until Prime 4. Bro, you are the fucking definition of a tourist. These characters have no business in a fucking Metroid game. Yes, the modern audience. Don't ask questions, just consume product and ask for next product. File Boosted Squirrel, how the fuck do you know what changed if you've never played another Metroid game before? Fucking tourist. Regard. These are over and over again, getting completely roasted, toasted, and cooked to oblivion in the comments. Yeah, quote tweet from Endymion. Prime example. Oh, I see what you did there. Prime example for why gatekeeping is good for your favorite franchises. I can speak to this. I'm okay, by the way. If people are big time Metroid fans and disagree with my opinion on stuff, I'm here for that conversation. Get the fuck out of Dodge if you're here first time to Metroid and you're like, I actually like the characters. They add a lot of context to the story. Get the fuck out of here, bro. No one wants to hear that shit. Hanya says, wow, I cannot believe only one person who liked Metroid Prime 4 thoroughly is person who states he couldn't get into Metroid at all until Metroid Prime 4. What a shocking revelation. Spiders, it's so refreshing to hear someone just say it. It's Metroid for people who don't like Metroid. Can we all just acknowledge it's about IP and not the game design or the legacy or whatever? They're not making games for you anymore. They're cashing in on the fandoms you built. 100%. Nailed it. I had to highlight that because it was going ultra viral for all the right reasons. These are the comments and posts that you need to put a spotlight on and call these people out. Yeah, like I said, you're welcome to play the game, but don't come in here saying, oh, this is what makes a great Metroid game. I haven't really gotten into the series before, but this is what makes a really great. Get out of here with that. Juice Man Vaughn says, people have been lying or just exaggerating about Metroid Prime 4 on this app just because they got it in their mind of what Metroid should always be. The bike is fun to ride and the desert is fine with points of interest. You MFers can't be trusted to keep it 100. Again, another perfect definition of a tourist. Those of you who watched me live stream this or give my initial overview of it, I never said the bike section is not fun. I said it doesn't feel like Metroid. I argued that it on its own feels like it's like an F-Zero spinoff. Like it feels like its own game that should have done more with it. But it just feels awkward injected into Metroid. It doesn't mean that it's not fun. It just doesn't feel like Metroid. And I don't like that. It's a very nuanced take. And a tourist clearly wouldn't understand that. Thought this was funny. Krona says, Nintendo really can't fucking optimize their games. How is Metroid Prime 4 a game in development for 8 years glitchier than Pokemon ZA or Sonic Frontiers? Now, to be clear, I have not run into any of these glitches. I've not seen any of this stuff happen, but I thought it was funny. Someone recorded glitches. And again, I don't know if they have this running on an emulator or whatnot, but it's just funny to see this kind of stuff happen. And it does, me being a former game tester, it does pique my interest on trying to glitch these areas to see if I can do the same thing. I love watching glitches of games to see if this happens. Again, I haven't seen many people complaining about this, so I don't know how widespread this is. Something to keep in mind. This one was really funny, by the way. I cracked up when I saw this. Joey Ferris, this guy went on the lefty lunatic crazy train. I used to be cool with this guy until he went off the deep end. And he's a hardcore Nintendo fanboy and Metroid fanboy. And he hates people like me that keep it a buck. He says, turns out you do not need the Samus and Viola amiibo to unlock music in Soul Valley. You can 100% the game to acquire it. Now let's stop spreading misinformation, shall we? Follow-up post. Deleted my post about the Metroid Prime 4 radio being unlocked by 100% logbook scans because apparently that's not true, despite hearing otherwise from a few people. But mind you, this is the same guy who says, let's stop spreading misinformation. Ah, shit. You can't make this stuff up. It's classic. The Metroid discourse is entertaining to say the least, but the game itself, again, not bad, not terrible. At this point, I'm still early on, like 7-8 hours into it. I can see why it gets an 8 out of 10. I feel like that's kind of where I'm putting it. I lean towards a higher. If I could go half a point higher, I might go 8.5 out of 10. It is really fun. It's a fun game, but it's not as good as the original Metroid Prime. It's not as good as Prime 2. I don't know if it's going to get better, but it could get worse. Right now, at this point, I'm sitting at an 8 with it. It could go up, it could go down, but I'm at an 8 right now. I don't know if it's going to start going down though, because I just got the bike section, so we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself with my happiness and contentness with it. Very Dark gave it a 5.5 after finishing it. Oof. That's pretty brutal. Wow. I don't think I'm gonna go that low with it, but we'll see. That's wild. But I will, for now, I will leave that one there.